Welcome to the shooting show. This week it's an Irish double bill as Jason Doyle takes us on crow patrol before testing the latest accessory for his Browning rifle. This time of year means only one thing for Jason Doyle, and that's crow control.
We're out this morning in an old favourite place of mine for a few crows. Every year at this time of year, when it gets dry and the crows can't find the food they want in the fields, they come in here where the farmer has cattle and they start hitting the food in the sheds. And they eat quite a lot of it, but they make a hell of a mess as well. And they hit the silage clamps and peck holes in the bales and generally make a nuisance of themselves. So every year we get a day in this yard. There's not as many here this year as there have been other years. If we can shoot 20 or 30 here this morning, I'll be happy. There was quite a few hooded crows here when we came in, so I'd like to get a few of them as well. Today, for the first time, I'm going to be using the Eley Zenith copper game shot. I just have a few boxes of them, so I'm going to alternate between them and the VIPs, which I know well, and it'll be a good comparison for the Zenith to see how they kill. So we have the hide set up. We've just put a couple of pallets and a net around it. It's a little bit windy today, a little bit windier than I'd hoped, but we'll get in and we'll see how we go.
With the hide already built, Jason can get straight to it. Selecting one of his two types of cartridge, he stokes up the gun with Eley VIPs. This is a farmyard pest control exercise, so careful shot placement is essential. Not only being mindful of the safety aspect, but making sure the shot crows fall in a place we can retrieve them. Luckily, shot placement is no problem for crack shot Jason. He's certainly off to a good start, even though the crows aren't coming in as fast as we hoped. Now it's time to ring in the new with a change of cartridge.
I've just changed over to the Eley Zenith copper shot now to give them a try for a box. It's not going quite as well as we'd hoped. It's a little bit windy and the crows are a bit spooky. We're probably a day or two early to be shooting here, but the farmer rung us, so we said we'd come when we could. Probably 16, 17 down so far, so we'll give it another hour and see how we go.
Putting the Zeniths to good use, Jason makes some clean first and second barrel kills, with hooded crow and jackdaw joining the bag too. But Jason has obviously been watching a few of Jeff Garrett's videos, as no sooner do we put a few more on the ground than he's out retrieving the shot birds and adding them to the decoy pattern. With Jason finally happy, it's back to the hide for another hour of action. Drawn in by the decoys, the crows keep coming at a steady rate. It's not a spectacular day, but it all contributes to the pest control effort, and it's all good sport for Jason, who picks out some memorable shots at long range, as well as taking them high overhead. With just the occasional miss among the hits, we've had an excellent rate of success, even if the overall bag won't be massive. Sadly, as the day wears on, the action starts to slow down, so we call an early halt to the proceedings.
Well, we've called it quits pretty early today. We gave it just short of 2 hours. About as good as I could have hoped. We've 35 maybe picked, probably another 8 or 10 in the hedges around the yard. Happy enough. Shot well with the 725. It's a new gun to me. Happy with it now. 32-inch sporter. Struggled a little bit on close birds. It's a heavy gun, but on the stuff with a bit of distance on it, enjoyed it. It was nice to move. I was really impressed with the kills with the Eley Zenith copper shot. It's the first time I've used them, and low recoiling, noticeably low recoil, and some really nice kills at distance. So all in all, a good morning. Would have probably hoped to have a few more here in a couple of weeks. They're going to be moving a lot of meal into here for bulls, to feed bulls in these sheds. So maybe another 9-10 days we'll be back. One thing about today that was good was to get the hooded crows and plenty of jackdaws as well. Lots of songbirds nesting at the moment, and those boys won't be doing any good to the nests. So it's nice to get a few of them. So yeah, we'll be back again in a couple of weeks, and I'll have to do something else for the rest of the day.
Jason there, all crowed out. And now, it's the Shooting Show News.
This is the Shooting Show News. Big brands are signing up to exhibit at the UK Game Fair this 22nd to the 24th of July at Stoneleigh. Prestigious British gunmaker Boss & Co is one of the latest to confirm its attendance. You'll be able to see its exquisite collection of side-by-sides and over-and-unders at the UK's new flagship country sports event this summer. And country clothing giants Musto will also be at Stoneleigh. The country's biggest Musto dealer, Peter Stunt, says it will show off some brand new ranges at the fair. Get all the latest updates at ukgamefair.com. If you want to own a piece of Olympic history, now's your chance. 2 guns owned by Olympic gold medalist Bob Braithwaite, who died last year, are going under the hammer at Holt's on the 30th of June. Braithwaite used a 12-bore C-grade Browning over and under to beat 55 shooters and score 198x200 in the 1968 Olympics in Mexico City. The gun is estimated at between £7,000 and £9,000. More info at holtsauctioneers.com. The grey partridge could be coming back to Cornwall. The GWCT has launched a project to reintroduce greys to this part of the UK. Research by the GWCT has shown that with the right habitat management and reintroduction of birds, populations can be restored. An estate near Padstow has been chosen for the project. A great deal of preparation has already taken place, and partridge broods will be introduced this autumn. For the latest on partridges and game shooting, pick up a copy of iShoot magazine every month. And finally, the mainstream media got a taste of shooting this month as 2 Touch FM DJs headed to EJ Churchill for their first ever shooting lesson. Cy Alexander and Ollie Gallant from Touch's morning show received tuition from the Churchill's team, which will also be running the clay line at the UK Game Fair this summer. Touch FM will be reporting on location from the UK Game Fair on the 22nd of July. Look out for the UK Game Fair team in action at a number of live events before then. That was the Shooting Show News.
So we're just back from shooting the crows this morning. And it turns out while I was away, a courier arrived with a little piece of kit that I'm really keen to try. It's supplied by Browning UK and it's made by Calix Technic in Sweden. It's something I saw in Iwa in Germany this year and I was really impressed with it. It's a cheek riser that'll work on most Browning models, and it just brings the top comb of the stock up just so you have a snug cheek weld for looking through your scope. Now you can use butt pads for this, and I always have used butt pouches which can hold your bullets as well, but during the winter and in the wet time they get soggy and smelly and they're not particularly pleasant. This is a really well engineered little piece of kit and all the instructions come in the box. It looks quite simple, so just with basic tools, a couple of drill bits, I'm going to give it a go and see what it's like when it's fitted. So the first thing we need to do is remove the recoil pad, which I've done just with an ordinary Phillips head screwdriver, and after that the box comes with a template. And on the template it has different stickers that you cut out for the specific rifle you're using. So here we have the A bolt. So I'm just going to cut this out. It's the same template for the X bolt and the A bolt, and it has all the hole locations and the drill bit sizes required for drilling them. So now we just have to stick it on the stock. Front and back is labelled there as well. So I'm just going to stick it on the stock, drill the holes, and the whole thing should go together quite easily. Just a handy little tip before you go drilling the holes in your stock is to mark the centre of each hole with a fine nail or screw. Just mark it, and a couple of taps of a hammer, just to make sure your drill bit stays in the centre of the hole, because this is quite a sharp edge on top of the stock and it would be easy for the drill bit to slide off as you're drilling, and you don't want to have the hole in the wrong place, and you don't want your drill bit scoring all down the side of your stock. Another point to remember with this, it's designed so it can be used for either right or left-handed shooters. So the hole on this left-hand side of the stock, you don't need to drill unless you want the adjustment wheel mounted on the left-hand side for a left-handed shooter. So I'm just going to drill the hole on the right-hand side. I'm going to ignore this. But if you wanted it to be ambidextrous, or if you're a left-hand shooter, you would drill the hole on this side and possibly leave the one on the right-hand side. Just something to remember, so you don't need to drill extra unnecessary holes. So now we can see all our holes are drilled. So now I'm going to put the unit together, put in the appropriate spacers and screw it all on. The kit is supplied with a number of different spacers to go onto the interior unit. They're all marked with code for what they are. So I want ABF and ABR for A-bolt front and A-bolt rear. And they click in to the front and back of the little aluminium unit that goes inside the stock. The last thing to go in now is this little clip, and all this guy does is just clip onto the back leg of your riser, and it locks it in place so it can't pull out. Well, there's the finished job. Neat and tidy, simple to fit, 10 maybe 15 minutes max once you have the right tools, and it does a really good job at lifting your stock. Should provide good cheek weld for anybody, good adjustment on it. Works with long and short action. They're available for most rifles, but this is specific for the Browning. I really like this item. It works, it's well made, and it should last a long time.
Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for watching. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And it's only 8 weeks to go to the UK Game Fair at Stoneleigh Park, Warwickshire. You can buy your tickets here. This has been The Shooting Show.